just realized there was another comedian who had Donald Trump on his podcast prior to the election, and that was Andrew Schulz, who has really blown up. Like really blown up. He called it a joke. He said that he would make love to Kendrick Lamar. That was a little weird. What do you make of his ascension and the way that he has framed his comedy?
I mean, I've spoken on it to a degree where, like, I just don't. I think ultimately they don't challenge the politicians that they have on their shows hard enough. I just don't think they do. And I think if you're going to serve as an arm of a political wing, you deserve to be criticized as a member of that political party. I don't really care about the Kendrick stuff. I go, in the realm of entertainment, whatever. If you want to entertain, if you want to fight, if you want to have a beef with someone, I don't give a shit. But when it comes to politics, I go, these have tangible results on people's lives.
Yep.
And if you're going to help with the promotion of a politician or political ideology, you're going to hold the bag with the consequences of it. And I think you should be held to account, not as a comedian, because you've decided to enter that other sphere. And we'll see how it all shakes out. We'll see if certain rights get taken away, how it falls back on you. But I think it's a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're acting as a comedian. I think you're acting as a newscaster. I think you're acting as a pseudo journalist. And I go, if you want to do that, you're going to be held to account as a journalist. I think it's the same thing, Hassan Minhaj got criticized for to a degree, where it was like there were certain elements where I go, if it's story, it's entertainment, that's one thing. But if you lean towards journalism, you're going to be held to different standards. And if comedians want to go down that path, that's up to them. I'm not here to tell someone what they should be doing as an entertainer. I'm looking out for myself, and I'm holding myself to my own standards. But I do think if you're going to not act like a comedian, you're going to be judged not as a comedian. Mm-hmm. And it's all a joke is not going to hold up.
Mm-hmm. All right, I got two more for you.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So one thing that I've become pretty invested in is the results of crowd work. Do you know what your highest viewed YouTube video is by chance?
I would guess it's the one about the guy who was sort of seeing someone and then she found out he didn't vote, but he kind of expressed a defeatist attitude that Kamala couldn't win because the country was sexist and racist.
That is correct.
And she kind of took it personally, or just saw it as like a judgment of his character as opposed to a point of view on America, and stopped dating him. But yeah, that's definitely my most viral crowd work video.
That is correct. So there was that one. There have been others where you had an exchange at a drag show of all places with a supporter of Donald Trump. That's an oxymoron. Her lines, and I quote, "You do you, baby, and Biden's killed the entrepreneurs." Crowd work is tricky because you never really know what you're going to get. I feel like it sharpens the tools. But when you've had these exchanges, you're trying to once again, as I stated previously, it seems, hold up the mirror and be like, no, this is what's going on. Do you see what's going on? How long did it take you to get comfortable with these exchanges? And do you believe that through your crowd work, you might be changing a few minds here and there?
I don't know if I'm changing any minds. I think like for me the two clips that you cited, to me they're very different. Like the one with the text message I see as like a good piece of entertainment because we're just like showing life for what it is. Like, you know, the guy didn't vote. It's up to you whether you care about that or not. Given the results of the election, it wasn't one vote. The person on the phone, you know, some people said, "Oh, she's so in the wrong." Other people say, you know, he's in the wrong for his behavior. I just think it's like interesting. I'm just showing you life in a funny way. The other one is like I left comedy territory and I became preachy. You know, I told this woman, you're full of shit. There's no way I changed that woman's mind that night. Um, I I think there's certain like realms where I feel justified to be preachy and be kind of go fuck yourself, you know, and in that case, like I think being at a drag bar while being a Trump supporter, it just felt so one to one. You're full of shit. I just got angry, but ultimately, I think that's less inclined to change someone's mind. I think like I always remember I had a joke about Brittany Griner, and it wasn't even a joke about Brittany Griner, but it started with saying Brittany Griner was recently released from the Russian prison, and then I said a joke that was like, you know, a joke. It was a joke. It doesn't even matter what the joke was, but one time I was in South Carolina, I believe. I just started the joke. I said Brittany Griner was released from a foreign prison, and just to be clear, in my point of view, I was like, that's good.
Right.
That's a good thing. It's not good when an American citizen is imprisoned in a foreign country, let alone for having what hemp oil or something. And I think the hatred towards Brittany Griner, you know, might be partially related to her politics, but ultimately stems from sexism and homophobia and racism in the American population. That's my point of view.
Right.
Period. That's not what the joke was, though. But I said Brittany Griner was released from a foreign prison, and someone in the audience went, "Boo!" And rather than be funny, I said like I couldn't help it. I said, I actually think it's good when Americans are released from foreign prisons. And it was so awkward. No one laughed. No one was swayed. No one was anything. I said what I meant, but it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. The guy just probably thought I was a dick. People who agreed with me agreed with me. Maybe someone went woo or gave me a slight applause. No minds were swayed. And in a way, it's virtue signaling. Now, what would I think be more effective? If someone loved my body of work, who thought it was really funny, and along the way, whether it was listening to this podcast or something else, found out that, you know, heard my jokes enough to hear my thoughts about how America is racist and sexist and weed should not be punished like this, blah blah blah. That would be more effective than what I did. Now, on the surface, it might seem like, ooh, you shut that guy up or whatever, but that's not effective. That's nothing. It's virtue signaling. It's virtue signaling art. Um, and some people will go, it was nice to know that you were on our side. And maybe there is some of that. Maybe it's nice that someone who likes me and sees a Jewish person who criticizes Israel, it's nice to hear it. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
What do I think is more effective, though? If someone loves my comedy and ultimately goes, oh, he makes fun of Israel. I like this guy. I'm gonna watch the special even though I don't agree with him about Israel. And maybe it gradually opens their mind to think a little bit more about that. But it's not that direct, preachy, you're wrong. That rarely changes people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's complicated, but I think I'm not going to sit here and pretend that my goal is to sway people. I'm here to make people laugh. I believe what I believe, and I ultimately think at the end of the day, people are going to be more influenced if they like me as a comedian first than if I try to shove my views down their throat every second I get.